This is the first of the 2023 through 2024 Plan With Me videos that I'm going to be doing for you guys, just so you can see how I plan in my planner and to give you some ideas of how you can plan in your planner. So this is my brand new Messy Bun cover planner for this year. I really like this cover, and my hair's not this blonde, guys, but still, I do a messy bun many days out of the week, so this kind of spoke to my heart this year. Okay, so I've already written my name on this first page, and if you're wondering what I like to use, I use this Papermate Inkjoy Gel 0.7. I love these pens, and my girls usually steal these and use these as well when they're doing their homeschool work, so we just get a lot of these and they float around the house. I do have to warn them though that they're not erasable, which is a whole nother story, but I do like using that pen in my planner. And then this next page, I'm not going to show you all of my information because it's personal, but you would just want to put your most important contacts here. For me, it's like family contacts for those that don't live at our house, in case something ever happened to your phone or to you and someone would need to get in contact with these people. It's just good to have, you know, address, phone number, that kind of thing that you just don't keep memorized usually for other people. Also down here is your websites and passwords. I'm not going to share with you mine. This is not something I'm going to share, but so this I use for any websites that I have that I am constantly signing in with a username and password, because I tend to forget my password, and then some of the sites want you to create a new password every so many months or whatever it is, and I will forget what my new password is because that's just how I roll sometimes. So this I definitely fill out with pencil, so I can erase the password and write the new one in when I do have to make a new password. Usernames, usually you don't change those, but like websites, I can think of if you use a bank website, if you use Google, or if you have any kind of website that you would have a username and password, write it down here and just have it on hand. Okay, so on the next page, important information. This is kind of like an overflow of your important contacts. Maybe this isn't contacts this time, but it's just information that you need. Anything that you might need to be able to get to in a hurry if there was an emergency or something of that nature, you would want to write that right here so you have it easy to access right in the front of your planner. My personal resources, I use this for books that I'm reading, things I'm listening to, and things that I am watching. And I am going to add, right now, I just started reading, I know it's not July yet, but I'm going to go ahead and write this down so I can kind of show you guys. I am currently reading In Vital Harmony by Karen Glass, and this is a really good book. If you're looking for a good homeschool, Charlotte Mason kind of mom book to read, this is a really good book. This is what I'm reading right now. I'm going to go ahead and write that on my reading space right here. Okay, and then another one that I am planning on reading this summer is Know and Tell, The Art of Narration. So I'm going to go ahead and write that one down here as well. Okay, so that's what I do here. Anything that you're planning on reading or that you are reading, if you don't want to feel pressured, if you accidentally, you know, if you pick up a book that you want to read and you write it down here and then you don't read it, to avoid feeling guilty over that, you might just want to write down the books that you're currently reading, and then at the end of the year you can kind of have a little collection here of what you have read for the year. I enjoy this. That way I can see what I have read, and just, I don't know, it's a nice memory keeper. What are you listening to? Maybe this is podcasts, maybe this is a Bible study, or just whatever things you might be listening to. Maybe it's your favorite songs. Write down that you're listening to, just to kind of keep as a memento of this year. watching, same thing. If there's a movie that you really want to watch, you could write it here. Maybe you're watching some certain person on YouTube or whatever it might be. Maybe you're watching a video series. You can keep that in this space here. The next pages, if I can open this up. So the next pages are your year at a glance. And I like to just kind of highlight dates on this and then use the lines down at the bottom to note what my highlighting means. So I have birthdays highlighted in blue for family and friends. We have no school days highlighted in green for me this year. And then I have one daughter that goes away to her dad's house. We have a blended family, and we do have my older kids go back and forth to their dad's house every once in a while. So I have her marked out for when she is away. And my two sons that also go over to their dad's house, they're actually older now. One is an adult, so he doesn't go to his dad's house unless he wants to now. And then my other son is 17. If you're wondering what kind of markers I use, I have them here. So this is, the green one is this Tombow 192, and this kind of blue is this Artist Loft Sapphire Blue. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Yep, Artist Loft 101 Sapphire Blue, if you're interested in those colors. I have another gray one, and I can't remember. I think I used this one. Let's see. It's getting kind of faded away here, but it's N52, I believe. Tombow N52 for this little bit of gray. And I actually, what I like to do when I get my planner out, and I already did this off camera, but I will flip to the very back of my planner where all of those lovely notes pages are, and I will make a page for a marker test. So this page I will use as a marker test, and I tested out a lot of pens, just trying to kind of match the colors to the colors that are in this planner this year. And here they are. So if you're interested in any of those, I starred the ones that I really liked, and then this is the one I question marked, this one, but I actually ended up using it. So this is a lot of colors that I chose for this year. Last year I only chose 2 colors, and that was much more reasonable. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do this year. I was having trouble finding the exact color blue I wanted because I was trying to match this tab right here. If you bought tabs, fun little fact, all of these tabs, the artwork behind them, that coloring comes from one of the designs in my book here. So I took, for instance, this green, I took from one of the leaves or another piece of greenery that's in my planner already. I just blow up the image, and then I will use a paint program or like an artist program, and I will use them. I will cut them out kind of digitally and then use them for the tabs. So that's why you've got all of these fun textures in your tabs if you ordered tabs. Yeah, like you can see here, I used this same background that's in some of the pages, that kind of hexagonal. It reminds me of bees. I don't know. I kind of like the farmhouse style almost always, but I like to incorporate other elements of graphics and just style here and there. You guys probably know that though if you have my planner. Alright, so let's go back to the front where we were. So I have started my first page with my name. I've got my contacts on there. I'm going to continue to fill this out as I come up with more information. And then I've got my dates set. So I decided we're going to start school August 14th here and end school either the 24th or the 31st. I couldn't decide on that. But I guess it's actually nice to be flexible because that way if we miss extra days or something, we have extra time. Okay, and then for this important dates, I had to cover mine up because I forgot to cover them before. But I will write down birthdays and like anniversaries, or if you're going to a wedding or going on a big trip or a vacation somewhere. That's what I use my important dates pages for. And like I said, I have some personal information on that, so I'm not going to share those with you guys, but that is what I put there, and I just use my pen. I don't do anything too fancy. I just kind of list out what is going on in those months. And you can actually transfer that from planner to planner. So if you bought my planner last year and you already have that information, you can just open up both planners and transfer that information and add in anything extra or anything new that's for the coming year. This reading log for the Bible reading log, is one of my favorite little tools here because sometimes I'm hit and miss with reading through my Bible. I try to read every day, but that doesn't always happen. I tried to stick to one book of the Bible though until I finished it, and then when I do finish it, I like to check off that I have read it. That way I can kind of keep moving through the Bible and not keep coming back to the same book over and over because I forgot which ones that I have read. So I'm gonna have to get my other planner out from last year and mark off what I read last year already so I don't accidentally read them again. And I think I'm going to use my markers to do that. So I'll probably use this gray one to just kind of mark the box for the ones that I read last year. And then the new ones that I read this year, I think I'm going to use the green to mark that I read them this year. And I'm slowly working my way through the whole Bible. If you have any Bible studies that you do at your church or somewhere else, you can write those in down here too, just to have kind of a record for your own information of what you've done. It's nice to look back on and see the progress you've made in life. It's not just for our kids, but for us. The next 2 pages are goals. This is new this year. I didn't have these goal pages last year, and I thought it would be nice to include them. So I've got personal goals here. You have 3 that you can work out the details of, and 3 family goals. And I'm gonna have to think hard about mine. I'm not ready to write these down yet. I am thinking personally, I definitely want to work on my own health and wellness more. So that's probably going to be one of my goals for this year, is to really focus on living a healthy life. Not necessarily taking like going on a diet or something like that, but just living a consciously healthy life. I want to be a healthy person so my kids aren't having to deal with me being sick. If it's within my power to keep my body healthy, then I would like to work on that more this year. Besides that, I'm still deciding what I would like to write down for my personal goals. And you don't even have to have all of these up front at the beginning of the year. If you want to work at one goal at a time, that's perfectly fine too. And if you decide later in the year you want to add another goal in, then that's great. You have this here waiting so that you can write down your main goal on this top line here, this area, and then you can work out kind of actionable steps underneath it. Like, how are you going to achieve that goal? And when you're deciding on your goal and how you're going to achieve it, you really need to keep in mind that it needs to be something you're willing to do and something that you would enjoy doing, something that you know you're going to be able to accomplish. So it's not going to be something that's grandiose where you're never going to be able to actually accomplish it. You want to make sure that it is completely reasonable for you. In your family goals, same thing. I'm going to have to come back to mine. I have no idea what I'm going to write on my family goals yet, but I definitely want to set some. Probably something more like, probably some health and wellness kind of stuff for this too, because I feel like I don't get my kids outside enough. We're outside a lot, but I don't know. I like outside time more than game time or TV time. And I think maybe we can work on that a little bit more this year in our house. Okay, next is finances. So in lieu of having finances every month throughout this planner, I decided instead to give it one overview page. So here we have our bill tracker. So anything that you pay all month long, whatever it might be, you would write down here. So that would be, I have mortgage already. I have our phones on here. I started this. I'm going to add in all of our utilities and everything else that we pay regularly each month. I'm going to put down on this page here. And then as I go through the months, I'll find the month we're on. So if I start this July, I'm going to say mortgage, we paid how much money, and then I'm going to check mark it, or I'm going to use one of my markers to mark off that we have paid it. I do like to write how much we paid so I can kind of keep track, especially if it's something that's that doesn't stay the same every month. Something like maybe your power bill or your water bill. If it's not the same every month, definitely like to write down how much it is. So you know, for our phones, we have some inexpensive phones right now, which is great. But so for July, I already know our phones are going to be $40 for my daughter and I. My husband has a different plan, but for our phones, they're just simple. They get the job done, but $40 is going to come out. So when that does come out, I'm going to take my marker and I'm just going to mark it off like that. That way, as I go through time, this is just going to have a whole lot of green, meaning that it's been paid, and I can see how much was paid each month. Also on this side, same kind of concept. I'll write our giving. So for us, we tithe to our church. Maybe you have a church you tithe to, or maybe you have some kind of, some place that you donate money to, and you would want to write that down here. Even if you're like giving to a friend or something, you could write their name in if you do it regularly, and write down how much that you gave. And these are monthly. So if you give to your church, and it's, say you give to your church weekly or something, what I would do is write, actually I'll show you what I did last year. So for my church, oops, sorry, hitting my stand. I would say, so for July, I'm going to pay 4 different weeks. So I actually just make like a cross in that. So now I have 4 little boxes, and I'll write down the amount that I gave in each of those little boxes. And then when I'm done with the whole month, I will take my marker and I'll mark it off. And then savings, same thing. And I gave a lot of spaces for savings. If you have multiple things you save money for, like say you're saving money for someone's birthday or for Christmas or whatever it might be, you can keep track of that right here by writing down what you're saving for and then how much you're saving each month. And I actually kind of like to do this in envelopes. If you have some simple envelopes, you can designate those envelopes for savings for birthdays or for Christmas or something like that. And then you can take, I actually just took some fancy washi tape and I taped the envelope down so that the flap was towards me and I could put money in it. That's just an idea. I did already go ahead and label my birthday pages. So you can label these in order as they come during the year. I didn't do that. I just went from my youngest child to my oldest, which is fine because I'll be flipping back to these pages to plan here anyway. So I've got my Marcus and Levi and Emily, Tabitha, Joshua, Jeremiah, and I actually made one for my husband as well. And then we go into Thanksgiving, and I'll do this closer to Thanksgiving, and then Christmas as well. I'll plan for this for Christmas, closer to Christmas. I'll show you guys that when we get to that time. I did want to show you this spread right here as well though. Cleaning and pantry and quick meals. This is kind of close to my heart because this keeps my house running. We have a large family, and to keep this filled out and using it is really important to keep our home going. So I didn't fill out this just yet, but I did go ahead and make my zone map. This is a space you have in your planner that is it's a dot grid page, and you can draw a simple floor plan of your house. So we have 2 stories, so I've got both stories on there, and then I actually just used colored pencil to do mine this year. And then I colored in the zones, and this is totally up to you what you want to assign to what zone. I made 5. If you just want to do 4, that's fine too. Some people like to do 5, some do 4. The zones you can do, there's a couple of ways you can really do zone cleaning. What I do personally is zone 1 is the first week of the month. Zone 2 is the second week of the month. Zone 3 is the 3rd week. Zone 4 is the 4th week. Zone 5 is if we have a 5th week. Okay, and then, so then going along with the zone map are your zone cleaning lists. So for me, I went through and I looked at zone 1, and I actually made this little sticky, these are little sticky tabs that you can get. These little sticky tabs on Amazon or something. They just come as a rectangle, but I got fancy and decided to cut mine into little arrows. You do not have to do that. Don't feel like you have to follow in my little fiddly cutting shoes here. So what I do though is I leave that arrow pointing to the task I'm on. And what I did when I wrote this down was I looked at zone 1, which for me is over here in pink. Everything in pink here is my zone 1, my stairs and my landing upstairs. All of this is zone 1. So I went through and I listed all the things that need to be done to really clean this area well. And then what I do when that week 1 comes around for that month, like 1 day a week. Some people do this over multiple days in that week, but I tend to do it just in 1 day. I will take an hour and I will work through this list. I'm not gonna get all of my list done in that hour, but I can get through several of these things. And wherever I stop at, say I got to this part, I didn't get to clean my carpets yet, and I had to stop for whatever reason. Now I'm gonna put my little sticky note pointing to the task that I left off on. And then let's say the next month rolls around and I'm on week 1 again, and I get more of these done, and I get down to wiping the blinds. That's what I do. And then once I have finished the whole list, I will go back to the top and I will start again. So I just keep my little sticky guy moving from place to place while I work through this. That way everything gets cleaned, even if it takes several months to get through. But I mean, how often do I think of cleaning my doors, wiping down my doors or my windowsills? I forget about that stuff. And because I do this, it doesn't get forgotten as easily. I end up hitting it at some point in time. It gets cleaned. And I do that for each of my zones. So zone 2 is week 2 for me. Zone 3 is week 3 for me. And this one seems huge for us because our zone 3 this is the kitchen. That's why it's huge. It seems like there's a lot to do in the kitchen. This area, so this is for us zone 4. Zone 4 is bedrooms. So I will definitely have my kids help with zone 4 cleaning. They're going to do their rooms the same time I'm doing mine. It's just once a month. They can handle that. And then I also have on the next page a place for seasonal zone cleaning. So I will do this, you know, between spring and summer, or like early fall I'll go through clothes, in spring I'll go through clothes, things like that. Pulling out appliances, I'll do that with my husband's help because it gets nasty behind those things after a while. Okay, notes down here, you can just add whatever notes you want to. If there's a person or a method that you follow for your zone cleaning, you can put notes about that down here if you wanted to, or just whatever you need to note down there. Another way that you can use the zone cleaning, if you don't want to do it the same way I do, you could do zones as in these are like weekly tasks that everyone does every week. You could do that. Like one person has zone 1 to do. One person has zone 2 that they work on. One person has zone 3. And you can do it that way also if you don't like doing it in this kind of monthly, weekly rotation. Going back a page, I think I'm going to start filling in some of this. You might consider doing this page in pencil also, because you might come back throughout the year and rewrite some things. So I'm going to see if I have a pencil real quick. Pencil. Okay, I have a pencil. And I'm going to go ahead and write in my morning routine because I have a pretty solid morning routine right now. I'm not getting up early enough for it, so I need to work on that, but morning. So there's a good start to what I have for my morning routine. And then I will probably also check my email. I have to be careful with that though, because sometimes I'll get carried away checking my email. All right, I'm gonna continue this. I love these erasers. I don't remember what they're like, plastic erasers or something, but they're wonderful. You can erase and erase and erase, and they work great. Also, another fun fact, one of the reasons that I like my heavy duty paper that I use on these planners is so that you can erase 5 million times and the paper is still gonna hold up. Because I do that sometimes. I will write this stuff in pencil and I will change it up and I will erase and I will rewrite it and I'll erase again and I'll rewrite it again. So having this 32-pound paper works really well for me for that purpose. Also, I can draw with my pens and they don't go through the paper so much. Okay, next, my weekly cleaning. I'm not ready to do this yet. I'll do this another time. I hope you guys enjoyed this plan with me video. I hope it gave you some good ideas for planning in your own planner. Of course, we're all different. We all have different families and we have different family dynamics and different homeschools. So please feel free to use your planner in the way that it best suits you and your family, your children, your lives. Next time, we're gonna finish planning in our home section. We'll finish going through weekly cleaning, and then we'll go into the rest of the home section of the planner. And then after that, we'll jump right into the homeschool planning. That'll probably be my favorite video, so stay tuned for those. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please do leave them for